Conversations with my ex. Yes, it had to end. Dated for 5 years. Now we really good friends. Conversations with my ex. Talking love and life. The dating ins and outs. Sharing some dope advice. We gon' keep it honest. Never hold back with my comments. I done learned a thing or two. So we gotta talk about it. You'll be laughing and vibing. Come through and connect. Never know what to expect. Conversations with my ex. Hey.
Welcome back to Conversations with My Ex. I'm Ayesha.
I'm Jared. I don't know why you do that whenever you introduce it.
Why?
Because we stopped doing that like 5 episodes ago.
Well, it's to remind the people so they don't forget who we are. Who are you?
I'm Jared. I already said it.
Oh.
You're off in your own world over here. But we're back. This is episode 11. And we're going to stick with that fun, casual format because we had a blast doing that one. That was actually my favorite one we recorded was the last one, episode 10. We did take a week off because you went on vacation, which we'll get into. But first, it's time for cocktail hour.
We need to put some music. Dun, dun,
I know, I do need to put some music. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. But what do we have? What are you drinking today?
Well, first I want to give a shout out to my best friend Carla for giving me this beautiful coupe for my birthday. And this is a Cosmo. I just picture that spilling all over my computer.
You know what? I thought of Kenny coming up and taking it right out of your hand.
This is a Cosmopolitan. Keeping it classic, keeping it chic, keeping it Sex in the City.
It's hard for me to comment on the color because of the color of the glass.
No,
don't even try it. Yeah, don't even try it.
This drink consists of 2 ounces of vodka, preferably Kettle One, 1 ounce of triple sec, 1 ounce of cranberry juice, and 1 ounce of lime juice. Shaken, not stirred. Pour over into a coupe glass. And that's how you
Excellent.
make it. And what about you?
I went super basic today. I just went with a
margarita.
Yep, a mezcal margarita. I actually did not the traditional recipe because I wanted it to be. I like the smoky flavor of the mezcal, so that's why I put
mezcal margarita.
Yes, so instead of like the 2 ounces that it calls for margarita, I put 3 in because I wanted that extra oomph, that extra smoky, lingering taste to it. 1 ounce of Cointreau. I did 1 full lime, and then I did just a dash or 2, like a couple squirts of agave nectar. Shook that shit up, poured that bitch over a rock glass, and a rock in a rock glass.
Yeah, a rock in a rocks glass.
And I'm not the guy. I don't really like. I like the aesthetic of salt on a rim, but preferably I go no salt.
Tahini all the way. All right, I haven't tasted my drink yet, so let's see my first impression.
I've been sipping on mine because it's delicious.
Fabulous. Exactly what it needed to be.
I think next week I need to go a little bit more non-traditional with the drink.
I'll switch mine up next week too.
That's what I'm going to try for.
It's been a lot going on.
Yeah, the last week or so.
A lot going on.
Because we did miss a week, and if those of you who listen weekly would have noticed that past Monday, there was no episode. And that was because Ayesha went on vacation, so I guess this would be a perfect time to cover the life update or whatever's going on, because I haven't really talked to you since you left for your vacation, other than to set up when we were going to record. So I didn't even know how your vacation went, actually.
Gemini season isn't over, but my birthday season is over, so it's sad. But it was a very good birthday. I landed in San Diego. My flight was a little delayed. I flew out of Newark, which I don't think I'm ever going to do again.
Oh, really?
It took us 2 hours to get from Stanford to Newark. 2 hours.
Was there a reason? Was it just a cheaper flight?
Friday rush hour. It was super cheap. My flight was literally under $300. Newark isn't bad when you're flying in off peak hours. Because when a set picked me up, it took us 50 minutes to get back to Stanford, and it was 11:50 at night. So I think it's just the timing. But
yeah.
But coincidentally, I like the airport itself, Newark inside. I like it more than JFK. Because since my flight got delayed, I had a chance to walk around. I was bored. I had time to waste. I grabbed a drink at 2 bars.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is actually really nice. I'm surprised at how nice it is. Because I never fly out of Newark. So
no, I was just thinking about that too. Because I was I've never even flown out of JFK either. I've only flown out of Boston and Providence, and then wherever I landed,
Oh my
flown
God,
back out
you're
of
right.
there.
Because when we went to Disney, we flew out of
Providence.
Providence.
Yeah, because we didn't go to Boston. We went to Providence, but we also lived like right up the street from the airport then, so that was kind of chill. But
So I'll give you a quick hold on. Somebody wants to also say hello. Kendrick has some eye boogies. He's getting groomed on Saturday, and I'm very hyped because he stinks.
how long does that smell usually last? Like after you get him groomed, like is it
Pretty long actually, pretty long because like
he doesn't stink it up? And
he
like
doesn't get
like a
too
week?
stinky because he doesn't like have a yard to go get stinky in. Like he's just naturally a stinky poo. Why are you looking at me like that? Anyways, so I'll give you like a quick recap of the trip. Landed late night on Friday. Got there. We went back to her place. She immediately had a joint ready for me. We smoked. We freshened up. And did we go out? I gotta stop doing drugs. Did we go out the first night that we...
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Lies. We went to In-N-Out. We went straight to In-N-Out from the airport. We smoked in the car, went straight to In-N-Out because we were both starving. And Brooke was laughing at, because we were super high by the time we got into In-N-Out, and she was just like laughing because like I was asking like such amateur questions. Like you could tell I'm not from the area. I was like, do you guys have like mushrooms as a topping? And Brooke was like literally hyperventilating laughing like this bitch just asked for mushrooms at In-N-Out. Like it was just so funny. But we had In-N-Out. That was fabulous. I think we took it chill. We hung out. And then her birthday was at 12. So the next day I have such bad memory. We ate a lot on this trip. We ate a lot. I didn't spend a lot of money because on Brooke's birthday, I paid for everything. Like every time we went somewhere, I paid for everything because it was her birthday. I was like, you're not paying for jack shit on your birthday. But all the other days, she didn't allow me to fucking buy anything. But we did I used the Uni for the first time. Uni pizza oven.
Oh, out there.
Yeah. So Brooke's boyfriend.
How quick does that shit cook?
Quick,
pizza?
5 minutes.
Oh shit! I need to get me one of those.
It's quick, but you have to be careful because it burns really easily. Like they did like a few trial pizzas, like before the party started, just to like get the hang of everything. And the first two burnt really badly, but then because you just have to continue to rotate the pizza like every few minutes.
So you can't like put it in and walk away. Like you got to be like
you got to be eyeing it the whole time.
Do you almost have to have the spatula? Is there a different word for that spatula? The pizza spatula? Is there a different word for it?
There is a name for it. I just don't know what it is.
Okay, so we're just going to call it... Okay, I just didn't want to sound like an idiot.
It's called a paddle. It's called a paddle, a pizza paddle. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like... it's kind of... That would have been my...
Yeah, it's a paddle.
Guess, because it looks like a canoe paddle also.
But it's like... This one's like a metal one.
But
so
what do you have to...
high heat.
Do you have to just keep rotating it the whole time? Like, you almost got to...
So it's 5 minutes. You have to rotate it, like, first put it in for 2 minutes, then turn it. Another 2 minutes, and then the last minute kind of slowly like get all the corners.
Rotate. Yeah. I need one of those.
And they actually, so Brooke my best friend started dating this guy, and he's amazing. I love him. I spent a lot of time with him. I was the third wheel majority of the trip, which I don't mind at all when it's a likable couple.
Yeah.
And he was the one that had the uni oven. He had pizza dough shipped out from New York.
Oh yeah,
so
you're in California.
It was like a shit ton of dough that we had, and it was cute. We had like a topping station. It was really, really, really fun. And we went out that night too. I was fucked up. I was super fucked up, and we
hungover next day.
No, because I ate so much pizza that like I didn't even really like that help with the hangover the next day. Oh. I ate a shit ton of pizza. That's
the only. Like it's always fun to have those nights out, like those crazy nights out where you're like every once in a while, right? When you're doing your thing and you're out with good people, you always end up drinking more than you wanted to, but you have a good time. The only thing is you pay for it the next day, and then it always makes you a little, well, maybe not you, but it makes me a little bit more hesitant to do it the next time.
I know.
Not to drink again, but to like have another one of those nights where I'm like, ooh, this could turn into that night. I haven't had a bad
hangover since, this is bad to admit, but I've been drinking so frequently, and my tolerance is probably super high that I haven't had a bad hangover in quite a while.
Yeah, I don't get massive ones anymore.
Yeah, I don't really.
Only on special occasions but it's almost like I know ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like I know next month I have a friend, not to cut you off from your story, but next month my friend wants to do his birthday at Foxwoods and do like Scorpion Bar and that stuff and get rooms and whatnot. Like I have a feeling that I'm going to be hungover that next day. So I'm
Yeah.
going to make sure I prepare ahead of time.
I
With,
feel like when you
liquid IV
have
and
your
shit.
boys' nights, those are the nights that you get the most fucked up. Like when you guys
when
are
you
going
plan
out.
it and you're like, yeah, we're doing this. Everyone's going to be in no man's land, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
So pizza party was fun. That was for her birthday. Then the next day we went to Temecula, which is like wine country in like the southern California area. Beautiful, beautiful. We went to 3 different vineyards, did a ton of wine tastings. That was really fun. It was just me, her, and her mans. That was a fun day. And then that night, her and I just went bar hopping. The next day we went to the San Diego Aquarium, which was really cool.
Oh, I've never been there. I went to the San Diego Zoo once.
Yeah, I want to go to the zoo next time.
The zoo's sweet.
Yeah, so we went to the San Diego Aquarium. And then other than that, we were just bar hopping, smoking a ton of weed. I was supposed to try shrooms for the first time on this trip.
But didn't.
But I did try
But
shrooms.
like what?
But I did try shrooms for the first time on my birthday.
But like shrooms or like chocolate shrooms?
It was actually a shroom tea.
Okay. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's maybe just in Rhode Island or if it's nationally, they're supposed to be legalizing that soon.
I really think that it's going to be sooner than later where it gets legalized.
But like a lot of people that I've talked to lately have had like the shroom chocolates.
Chocolate, yeah. So that's the most common.
Kind of basically the same way of like microdosing the way you would do with like, cannabis edibles or something like that. Like it's going to become more regular where it's like, it'll come to the thing where it's like, I don't do drugs. I just take chocolate shrooms. It doesn't feel like taking drugs like it probably used to. You know what I mean? Like obviously you still have the effects, but it doesn't you don't feel like you're doing drugs. You're just
the tea was nice because you don't taste it. Like so what it is, it's basically like shake of like people sell shake in the dispensaries. So they basically take all the shake from all different shrooms and take all of that and put it in a tea bag. And then you mix it with like a different tea bag, so it like masks the flavor kind of. And then we added like honey and stuff, and it was
like
tasty.
how strong of a dose was it? I'm assuming you took like a beginner's dose.
It was
right?
1.5 grams divided by 2 people.
Okay.
So it was 0.75 each, correct?
What 1.5? Yeah, it'd be 0.75 each. But
so that because I know that grams is like that's how they measure shrooms. And like for the first time, they said 1 gram is usually like you'll definitely feel it.
So would you say 1 gram of mushroom is kind of like 5 milligrams of like the way they start people off on cannabis?
I think like 10. It would be more like 10. Like 1 is
more like taking like let's say you went to the dispensary.
Because when you microdose shrooms, you take like 0.5. And that's that's like microdosing. So I think like anything like 1 to 2 grams, like you're going to feel a pretty intense trip. I liked my trip because it wasn't intense. It was very subtle, but I definitely felt the effects. It felt like I was drunk and high and just like all different things at the same time.
Did you do other stuff while you were doing that? Or were you just like, no, I just smoked. Okay.
Just smoked weed, yeah. Because
I'm just wondering how that affects the actual experience of it.
So I liked it. Like, so my birthday, so I came back from San Diego and I was super tired. I came back super late. And the next day I had off and I just chilled all day. I just chilled, hung out. It was raining, did the shrooms. And then I just went out like locally in Stanford. Like I said, I visited Jeanette, said hi to Jeanette, went to Mecca Noodle. Had tried hot sake for the first time, which I've never tried.
How was it?
It was nasty.
Okay. Well, you brought it up like it was like you were like, yeah, you know what? I tried this thing and it was.
Well, there were it was a lot of firsts. Like it was the first time that I tried shrooms, first time that I tried hot sake.
Yeah. A
few other things happened that was for the first time, but we won't talk about that. And but it was a really lovely birthday.
Yikes.
It was a lovely birthday. It was a lot of fun. So that's really my recap. I'm seeing someone.
Yeah, I already knew that though.
And yeah, and that's really it. I'm actually going to a really cool thing this Friday. It's called House of Cannabis in New York. And it's like this like multi-sensory like exhibition of cannabis. And it's like a whole thing. And I'm really excited.
Kind of like a museum type shit.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Sounds cool.
So I'm doing
it sounds
that
interesting.
And then for Father's Day, I got my dad. I've been gifting people experiences. I feel like that's just the best kind of gift. So I'm taking
it's one they won't forget, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you get them an item after a couple of times using it, it kind of just wears off.
And my dad's really tough to buy gifts for. And then also my dad, like his love language is definitely quality time. So I gifted him and I, solo dolo. We're going into the city this Sunday and I'm taking him out to dinner. He loves Turkish, Middle Eastern food.
Okay.
So I'm going to take him to a really nice Middle Eastern restaurant, and then we're actually going to go to a few mocktail bars. I did my because my dad doesn't drink. I did my research and I found like these two really cool, like really chic, like it's a regular bar, but they have like a really extensive mocktail menu that they're really well known for, and that's going to be cool because I can just like feel like I'm grabbing a drink at a bar with my dad, but it's not actually a drink. I'm just going to it's going to be super high. I'm just going to take hella edibles and just chill.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Because I can't. I mean,
because those will last longer too. Because if you smoked, it'd wear off by the time you got there.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna take edibles and chill out and just spend quality time with my dad because it's something that we haven't really done in a while, just him and I. So I'm excited about that.
Not too shabby.
And then I work a private bartending event on Saturday, which I'm making a decent amount of money, which will be nice too.
It's the way to do it.
And that's it. So tell me about you.
Honestly, this sounds lame, but the same old, same old. I've just been really enjoying just my time lately. I've stopped. I've got to the point where I'm still striving to get better and to move forward. Like that's always going to be a part of me. But lately I've just been enjoying even this little things that I normally don't stop and try to enjoy, where it's like, if I want to do something, just go do it. Don't think about how this is, not productive or whatever, because sometimes I get into those states. So I've just been letting myself reign free. I mean, obviously not go too crazy in either direction, but no, I've been enjoying life. Yeah, I've been enjoying life. A lot of golf.
That's good.
Just spending a lot of time golfing.
Do you notice that you're getting better, like the more you play?
I wish I could say, yeah. I think so. Golf's a fickle bitch. As soon as you think you figure it out, golf says, ha ha ha. No, you don't. And something else goes wrong. But no, I'm not upset with where my game's at. I changed my swing at the beginning of the season. If anyone who plays golf changes their swing, they know that that's like a death sentence for a couple of months. Mm-hmm. So I'm finally getting comfortable with the muscle memory of the whole thing. But no, a lot of my friends like golf, and the ones that haven't previously golfed are getting into golf this year. So it's been a lot more fun of a collective effort. Like if I'm not going out in the course, we're still going to the driving range and hitting golf balls, which has been fun. And yeah, we're just having a good time doing that. But even on Father's Day, right, my dad didn't want to do anything except sit on the couch and watch the U.S. Open. So that's what we did. We just all hung out. We had some steaks. It was great. We watched golf.
Did you do I think this is a great time to tell that story.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can I tell the story?
If you want, yeah.
I'll tell the beginning of the story and then you finish it off.
Well, no, you can tell the story and then I'll recap what was going through my head at that particular moment.
So this is Jared's grandmother's birthday.
How many years ago was this? This had to have been like 2 to 3 years ago,
2 to 3 years ago, for sure. And we had the reason why I thought about this was because he said steak dinner. So we had a steak dinner and they were like fat pieces of steak.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what cut of meat it was, but they were fat ass pieces of steak.
Yeah.
And we're just like chilling, eating at the dining table, eating our steak.
Wait. Can we preface the fact that your mom and her boyfriend at the time, probably about a week before that, brought up how the restaurant that they were at, unfortunately, I don't think it happened when they were there, but they said that someone told them that.
Right after they left.
Yeah. Said that someone choked on steak on a first date and died, which is terrifying.
So
absolutely terrifying.
This girl went on a first date with this guy, and he choked on a piece of steak, and he died.
That's
literally
crazy.
Died on their first date.
That's crazy. Not to get off topic, but like, how do you think that would affect you moving? I mean, like, oh my God.
I would not be okay.
I'd be like, I can't date anymore. Like,
well, my mom has super bad luck. That's happened to her. It wasn't a first date, but there was this guy that she was seeing casually, and he worked at a liquor store. And like, so he was like not in my mom's league. She would call him gondolero, which like in Spanish means like liquor guy. But she really liked him. She met him out dancing, but she didn't take him seriously because like he was a liquor guy and like a liquor store guy. Like my mom has higher expectations than that in a man. But they like went on a few dates, and he was just like, he had such a good, like goofy, fun personality. And they kind of stopped talking like for like, and a few months later she finds out that he died. And
shit.
Yeah, he just like unexpectedly died of like a heart attack or something. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, she was really.
That just goes to show you that you never know. Any moment could be like, imagine on a first date, you never know unless you're like sick, like when you're gonna die. That's like when you stop and think about that moment and how terrifying that is. That this dude was just like, I'm so excited to go out on a first date. I'm gonna get all fancy and take her out for steak the last thing you're thinking about is I didn't chew my food enough and I choked and then you die. Like you never expect that shit to happen.
And they
It's
were
crazy.
young.
That's
They were
crazy to
like in
me.
their late 20s, 30s. They were young. And that makes me think about like, I don't know what I would do, like regardless if it was like a first date or somebody that I'm dating, like losing
Just witnessing it in general, even if you weren't on the date, even if you just were in the restaurant and you saw
then
that
also
shit
just
happen.
like losing a partner. Like that's
Oh,
also like
yeah.
because I just remember in high school, this girl was in a serious relationship with this guy. It's like they were young, but they were dating for a really long time. Like, you know, those high school couples that have dated their whole high school, like 5-6 years.
Yeah,
under,
you can't
under their
you
belt.
can't think of one without the other. They're like forever linked.
Exactly. And he unexpectedly died in a car accident. And like she was so distraught and heartbroken. And she was super young. She was like 2 grades under us losing her boyfriend. And that was just like tough to see. Like, I don't even know what.
I mean, think about this. In high school, you have a hard time dealing with breakups, yet alone
Like
not even being broken up. This person died. Because when you're young and you're in love, it feels more intense than it does kind of when you're an adult because you don't have perspective yet. It's you're everything because you're so young. There's not enough life experience to put that into perspective. So like that person that you're in love with, I mean, after you live life, you realize that, haha, can't believe I was so distraught about a loved one in high school that I was dating.
They died.
No, I'm not talking about, but that's what I'm saying. Like you can't deal with heartbreak. Imagine death in that capacity.
That's insane. And that girl that lost her boyfriend, she coincidentally worked for my dad for an internship because my dad he had a startup called Shoplandia. And so he took in some interns and she was one of the interns. Two of the interns actually were people that I knew from high school, but she was one of them. And my dad was like, she's such a sweet girl. And I told him what had happened and he had no idea. He was like, that's
crazy. Yeah. I don't, that mean that'll.
I mean, it happened to my mom. My mom lost her fiance when my mom was engaged twice before my dad. The first one was like this guy who was kind of like, you know, not the best guy, kind of got into trouble. They were super young and they were engaged. And one night, and this is the most fucked up part of it all, one night they got into a fight. And
I remember you telling me this story.
He went out drinking and one thing led to another and he died in a car accident that night. Got drunk because he was in a fight with her. So imagine the guilt, not just that your boyfriend died, but the fact that the two of you literally had gotten to a fight and you feel that guilt. Yep.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
And it's all about your perspective on it too, right? Because if you do look on it as it's my fault, you're going to feel the weight of that forever.
And they were engaged at the time. They were in their.
That's crazy.
They were young though. Like mind you, my mom and my dad married at 23, 24. She was engaged twice before that. Her first engagement, she was like 17, 18. The second one was a few years after that, and then
and those affect you the most. The things that happen to you when you're younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways, we got so far off topic there. We're talking about steak. And the reason we brought that up is because I heard this story a week before this event that person choked and died.
So we're sitting chilling at dinner. And I just see in my peripheral, because Jared's to the right of me. I just see in my peripheral view, this is all I see. And because I saw it and then I looked over. He was like this. And pulls out this fattest piece of steak. It was like this long, like you saw it just like.
Oh yeah.
And like he made a face, like you could tell it was deep in his throat. He was like, but he was so graceful and silent about it. Like nobody at the table noticed that this happened. Yeah. I don't think I was the only one that saw. Yeah, it's like I was just like, "Are you okay?" And you were like, "Yeah, I almost choked on that piece of steak."
Yeah. And honestly, I will say this. Thank God that they told us that story because I don't know if I would have reacted the same way. Because I think
you thought of that.
That laser. I'll say, I don't give myself credit for a lot of things. I give myself credit for in like super stressful situations. I remain very calm. Like I'm very good at remaining calm in like crazy stressful.
Like, don't freak out. Don't freak out.
Oh, 100%. So like I didn't mean to obviously swallow it. It just like. You ever like shift things around your mouth because you're trying to chew it and you're like, oh, it's kind of fatty and you try to shift it?
You definitely took too big of a piece. You thought you were going to chew it up and then I think all of a sudden you swallowed it whole.
Yeah. It's like the mindset of like when you put too big of a piece of steak in your mouth at one time. You're like, oh, okay, I shouldn't have taken that big of a piece, but I'll just chew it longer. It's like, you're like, I'm just going to have to buckle up and chew it longer. That's the only thing. It's already in my mouth, whatever. So that was my mindset. And then when I went to go shift, like sometimes I'm like, this side's not working it so much. I'm gonna go to the other side of my teeth. So I fucking
It
went to
went
go shift, and it just as it was passing by the back of my throat, just went. You know, we're just gonna. What's down there?
We're gonna go for a ride.
Yeah, right down. And the first thing that came to my mind was that guy choked and died. Don't try to cough. Like my whole thought was like, don't
and
swallow.
Nobody is seeing this.
No, nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed.
Because I didn't want to freak out. So my whole thing was this.
We were all super hungry, so everybody was just like eating.
No one was talking. Everyone was just in their food.
Nobody was talking. Yeah, everyone was.
So I stopped and I said, all right, if you try to swallow it, you're 100% going to die. So don't try to swallow it. Your next instinct is trying to like almost, like when you're trying to like you're trying to like regurgitate it almost, like you try to use your throat muscles to kind of push it out. I said, don't do that either. You'll probably get it more stuck. And I said, it's only like half the steak's down, a little bit's back there. I said, don't cough because you're going to choke. Don't try to swallow because you're going to choke.
You were literally coaching yourself through that moment.
Yeah, and I stopped and I just went. And I just stuck my fingers out and I just grabbed it. And once I got a hold of it, I go, and I just pulled it out. That was the weirdest feeling of all time.
You probably felt like coming out of your throat.
Yeah, I don't know how you ladies
I laughed. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I laughed so because it wasn't funny in the moment, but after the fact, like, because just the picture that I saw in my head of like Jared, like calm as fuck, with like his eyes bulging out of his.
I look like a magician. Like, ooh, what do I got in here? Yeah. Check this out. Like the guy who pulls like a million scarves out of his throat. It was just like, here I am.
And I was just like, oh my god, reacted so like dramatic.
Yeah. And everyone was just like, huh? And I was like, yeah, I almost just died, but none of you would have known it. Because I didn't make a sound. I did it as silently as possible.
That was funny.
Because I didn't want to concern myself or anyone else. I go, we can handle this. And then I did it, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah.
I just fucking
I've witnessed
death.
I did, but here's the thing: is I have a friend who chokes all the time. I don't know why. He doesn't mean to.
Ooh.
I'll tell you names. After. Yeah. But I remember one time we were going golfing at the golf course, and we got food.
I have a friend that chokes all the time.
He does. I don't know. He just like doesn't know how to chew his food all the way. I guess I don't know. But he had a meatball sub. I already finished eating. My mom worked at this golf course at the time. I remember
this story. Okay, I remember.
And I went upstairs, and then I came back down, and everyone was like and I was like, "What the hell just happened in here?" Turns out he choked on one of his meatballs. Some guy had to give him the Heimlich maneuver, and then he like threw up everywhere because he didn't have a choice because it was like, and then his like stomach hurt so bad from the Heimlich maneuver for like weeks.
Yeah, because it's like you fucking.
This guy saved his fucking life. Like when I say he was like choking, like apparently it was like. And my friend that was with him didn't know what to do, so he just started patting him on the back. I went upstairs for like 5 minutes, came back down. I go, what did I miss? Holy shit! Everything. I missed everything. Crazy. I mean, I'm glad he didn't die, obviously, but holy shit! Like, chew your meatballs, chew your food, folks. Chew your food.
That's gonna be the name of this episode.
Yeah. Chew your food, folks.
No, chew your meatballs.
Yeah, chew your meatballs and your steak. Make sure you chew your meat fully.
Choking hazards. Oh my god! I don't think I've ever choke like that. I don't think I've ever.
No, it's not a fun thing. Before. That's the only time that ever happened to me.
I think I love my food so much that I overly chew it just to get all the flavor and the taste. Because I'm
not sure you do because then how your mouth would be having to go so fast. Yeah, so you can't chew it all the way. You chew it. You're just like a machine now, where you got it to a point where you're like, that's good. You know the minimum amount you have to chew it before you can swallow it.
That shit is so funny to me.
Yeah, terrible. It was awful.
Oh my god.
But yeah, we had steaks and we watched golf. So yeah, it was a good Father's Day. The only thing was that the U.S. Open was played in L.A. So normally on like a Sunday, a golf tournament ends around 7:30, 8 o'clock. This thing's ending around like 10:30 because they're playing 3 hours behind. So like the last group doesn't even start until 6:30 when the tournament's almost done by 6:30 normally. So, but yeah, no, it was a good time. I enjoyed it. And shout out to the guy who won, Wyndham Clark. Good for him. $3.2 million.
Wow. Shout out Wyndham Clark.
Yeah.
A set went to the French Open.
Well, that was tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a U.S. Open tennis too.
Yeah.
No, I saw that she went there. How long was she there? She was there for a while.
She was there. Yeah,
more than a week, right?
She was there for a week. It just seemed like she was there for more than a week, but she was there for a week. She had a fabulous trip. Fabulous.
I gotta
I really
schedule a
want to.
vacation.
I really want to go to Paris. In general,
See, here's
yeah.
my thing.
I'm going back to San Diego in September. I'm really excited.
Oh, you going again? I don't have any vacations planned, but I need to plan one. I do want my next vacation to be international, but I don't want to go international by myself. Not because I can't.
Yeah,
It's just here's my theory, and it's any vacation. It's you want like experiences are awesome, right? Any experience, anything that makes you happy. The number one thing you want to do is share that with somebody else. So it's almost like you want that experience with someone else that you're chill with. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to just do it alone.
and like it's fun to do a solo trip, but like
at a certain point, you want to share this experience with somebody.
And also, like, you haven't had as much traveling experience as I have.
No.
I feel like if I was a beginner traveler like you, like, I would want to definitely experience more trips with people. And then, like, once I feel like I get, like, a seasoned vet, I'd be, like, cool with... Because it's an art form to travel alone. It really is.
Yeah. Which I don't mind being by myself. Like, I actually enjoy being by myself. But in terms of, like, if I'm going to spend a week somewhere doing a bunch of different experiences... You know that the best part about a really fun and great experience, whether it's travel or whether it's just an experience in general, is to be able to be having such a great time and then look over to someone that you love spending time with and being like, yo, and seeing them having just as good of a time. And now you're forever linked in that experience. And it's just, I don't know, it just makes the experience a lot more beautiful. I mean, it's like anything else. When you do anything that makes you happy, you want to share it with somebody else. Like, I don't really have it so much in terms of like, let's say me for books and reading. Like, I don't have enough people in my life that read these types of books, but it's almost like I read these things. It's like, oh man, I just want to have a conversation about this, but I don't know anyone that's read this type thing. You know what I mean? It's like that with anything that you love. Like golf. I could go golfing by myself and have a blast, but I'll have 3, 4, 5 times as much of a good time, of a good time if I play with friends. You know what I mean?
No, definitely, for sure. And then we can shift this into the questions since we're already 30 minutes in.
Yeah, so I didn't do my due diligence. So you ask the question first, and I'll ask you one after. So we're gonna do it that way.
Well, since you mentioned, I thought of a question on the top of my head now. Where do you want to travel before the year ends? You gotta go. You gotta go somewhere.
Yeah, and I have 18 days off that I got to use before the end of the year.
Yeah, you gotta do something.
That's 3.5 work weeks I have off.
But ideally, like, where would you?
So. If we're just talking about this year, I'll probably, and you're going to laugh at this, I probably would love to do that Oregon trip and go see the football game that I was supposed to do.
Oh my God. Wait, I can explain this. So I got Jared a gift. Was it your birthday gift?
It was for my birthday. Yeah. But we were in the middle of so many things in terms of like moving and all this stuff that it wasn't like, which I get, like, I would rather do that too, but it was with the moving and the money situation, it just made more sense to do, like, an experience later in the year than get me something now, which made sense.
And you also wanted to go at a time where you could see a game.
Yeah, I only want to go to Oregon if I can see. Well, if I'm there, I want to double dip, right?
So, like, that's why we had a whole plan where I was going to take care of the flight and, like, the stay, and we were going to go and do like a trip to Oregon. And I wanted to do both the vineyards because there's a lot of amazing vineyards in Oregon. They're really well known specifically.
Go hiking. It's so nice
for their Pinot Noir, their nature. And then you really wanted to see like, we were going to do a tour of like University of Oregon and see like the football.
I'm a big University of Oregon Ducks football fan. So that's,
So we were going to do a little vibe, which would have been really cool, but that would be a cool.
And we were going to go in like September, October. And then we broke up
June.
No, it was July, I think.
End of June, because we were broken up on my birthday.
No, we were not.
Oh, you're right. You took me out to dinner. You're right.
Yeah, we were not broken up on your birthday. I think it was more. It was right after the 4th of July ish.
You're right.
Because we went
beginning of July.
Yeah, because we went to a wedding together, and then I stayed home for the long weekend because my aunt was having a party, but then you were doing something else. And then when that was right at the time where we were living at your mom's boyfriend's house after we moved out of the other place. So we were kind of in the chaos of everything. And that's just right around the time it fell apart. But I remember after we broke up a few times, I was like, oh, all right. So I just, you got out unscathed on that one. No birthday present for me. Just a theoretical one. Your wallet thanks you.
Oh yeah, I know. What did you get me for my birthday?
Jordans.
I
took you out to dinner, but I also got you Jordans.
Yeah. Those were nice. We got kind of like matching ones. Like you got like the darker version, and I got the.
Yeah, you got red and white. I got red and black.
Yeah, those are nice. I like those.
Jordan ones, beautiful shoes.
Very nice shoes.
Yeah.
I'm happy with my shoe collection right now. I definitely want more.
But ideally, yeah. So Oregon would have been, just because I'm looking at where we're at in the year, and if I had to plan it, it would be months ahead of time, because usually that's the best way to plan trips, and that would land in the fall, and that's the time I would go during football season. So yeah, so if I do actually go away, I do have a wedding in Florida in October, so that's not really. I'll probably only go down for a long weekend. I don't think I'll go for a full week unless I can turn it into something.
Go to Disney again.
Yeah, so it's in Sarasota. I don't know how
Okay.
many of my friends are going. I think some of us are going. I don't know how many of us are going, but I know the wedding's on a Sunday, so I'd have to figure that out. Then I'm in a wedding, I think in September.
Really?
Yeah, and then
I gotta ask names when the podcast is. So...
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, that would be, if I was going this year, I'd go there. If not, if I had more time to plan, I would love to do something in Europe, and it would either be
I think next year is going to be your year when you end up.
Yeah, France, Italy, or Spain. Just because I missed out on Spain, so Spain might be on top of my list now. Just because I was supposed to go, and I kind of hyped myself up to be like, "This is where I'm going to go experience," and then I didn't. So now it's like you almost want to still check that box off. You know what I mean?
Well, if I were to answer that question, there's no more specific. I mean, I really want to go to Italy and Greece. Those are like top 2 on my list right now. But I'm going back to San Diego in September, and I think I'm going to Jamaica in November for one of my friends' birthday trips. And Jamaica has been like up there on my list of places in the Caribbean where I really wanted to go.
My parents went there once on a cruise, and my dad was telling me that he came home with one of those like wooden walking sticks, like carved ones. Like they're really beautiful pieces of wood. But they had an excursion on their cruise in Jamaica. My dad was telling me that the locals wouldn't let them back on the ship unless they bought something. Like all the vendors would set up right outside the ship, and they would just hound you until you'd bought something so that you wouldn't miss the ship leaving. So he came home with like this. That's what this wooden walking stick.
That's what poverty does to you, man.
Yeah, makes master salespeople.
But yeah, Jamaica is up there for me on what I want to do. Okay, you got a question for me?
Yeah, I just thought of it now. All right. And this is in light of, I don't know if I sent you the post. I don't know if you saw it, but someone in my hometown recently at one of the bars we used to frequent bought a scratch ticket and won $100,000.
Yes.
And we know who this is. So my question to you is, if you were that person, if you had a scratch ticket or any kind of lottery ticket and won $100K, what would you do with it?
Half of it I would immediately put into a savings like situation, and then like it would be like, okay, so it would,
because you got to remember it's going to be taxed too.
Yeah.
But let's just for the sake of argument, let's just say you have $100,000 after tax, just to make it easy.
I'd split it in half. That first half would go to half of it into like a savings, and the other half into just investing in stocks and just
you wouldn't buy yourself anything.
I said I would split it in half.
Yeah, you said savings, but to me, savings is saving.
Savings and investments with that half, and then the other half.
Oh, that's one half. Okay,
yeah, that's one half. It would be split into 2.
I thought you were saying like 50,000 savings, 50,000.
So 50,000, it would be like 25. I would just spread it out into investments and do that, and then the other 25 would be just a saving situation where it will just like accumulate and sit there and be like a little safety net.
Nice.
The other 50,000, I would. I am definitely reckless with my money, so I would give myself a little bit of a splurge room to kind of splurge and do shopping.
What would you splurge on, you think?
I would definitely splurge on like designer bags and clothes for sure.
Would you at least get rid of some of your other bags if you were able to? Okay.
I would get rid of everything. Yeah,
God, you don't have any room for those shits as
I
it
would.
is, man.
Honestly, I would take like $10,000 and get like a few designer things and like a ton of clothes.
Not too bad.
And then I would, if I did that, I would sell my car and get an extra, because my car is definitely worth like a good $6,000-$7,000 at this point. I would sell my car, get that, and just get like a really dope car.
Like
and
what?
Then I want a Bronco. That's like the car that I want right now. I want a really dope olive green Bronco, like big boy.
Now, would you pay it in, depending on how much it costs?
I wouldn't pay it in full.
You wouldn't be able to after.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't pay it in full. I would put like a decent amount as a down payment and just pay that off, and then just have the rest of that money and just I would still keep my job, have that money be in, and just be as smart as I can, because this lease is up in December. So I would also use that money towards figuring out what I'm going to do. I'm not ready to buy. Even if I won all that money, I wouldn't buy. I'm going to do one more year of renting, and then I'm going to, because I don't know what the future holds. Like
you gotta wait. You also gotta wait for the market.
And like if things continue how they're continuing, and like my relationship right now, like I'll probably move in with that person and have to like be able to split that rent with them, because I'm really over fucking paying everything on my own.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. But again, I don't know what the future holds. This could be done in like a month. This could be forever. It could be,
you never know. I mean, regardless, I was talking to, this isn't the same topic, but I was talking to my mom the other day about someone they knew who got divorced, and how much that person has to like pay, and like not just child support, but then also alimony on top of that. And in my head, I go, I mean, nobody ever gets married or gets in a relationship with the idea of this isn't forever. Doesn't mean it will be forever, but you kind of have that in your head. Like, why would you commit
you're
if
such
you don't
on a
think...
high, especially when you're getting married, you're such on a high that it's just like, oh, this is never going to end.
But it just made me think, like, obviously nobody plans for the failure, but you almost kind of have to.
Well, even with us breaking up, since we were so long, like, it's like we lived together for so long and we split expenses for
you get so used to doing that
it's like everything is 50% off.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's like when you go from that to doing everything alone, it's like it's a burden on your shoulders. Things are so much easier when it's divided between two people.
Oh, absolutely.
And I really do think that in a household, regardless if it's 60-40 or if it's divided in
any little bit helps always. Because like, think about this, like even if someone covered the, let's say a mortgage or the rent, let's say that was what one person covered and the other person just covered like food and electricity and that shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's
like,
still
honestly,
not that bad.
My ideal situation would be like 70-30, 60-40. Like that would be ideal for me, because like a man needs to take his place, and like I'm hoping that like the person that I do end up marrying is making more money than me, and I think that it's fair for them to take on a little bit more than me. But I do think that I'm always going to be somebody who wants to contribute and put money into the house, because I have a good income.
Yeah.
Why
here's my thought on that. Whether I disagree or not, it's more or less like, if that is the case, and let's say it's marriage and that's the case, like let's say you want someone at 70-30, my advice, especially after that other story, I don't care how much you love this person, I think you always have to protect yourself in terms of your money. I was listening to somebody the other day.
I'm all for prenups and all
they
that
said,
shit.
Oh, 100%. And it's not, I think you almost need to remove the stigma of, and it's unfortunate the way that it is, like the divorce rate now, it's just crazy, because the problem is with social media, with all the apps, with the amount of connectivity you have, people get bored of things and move on off of things so easily. It's almost like that's a thing of the past. Not saying it doesn't happen, but you know
guys are getting divorced for a reason. And like, what's yours is yours. Like, if you're going to be at that point where you're going to divorce, then prepare yourself financially where you can, for me, a healthy divorce is if there's kids involved, then that gets divvied up. The kids and finances should be the priority. That's like divvying up priorities and finances with your kids is the most important thing. Yeah. But if you guys are getting divorced, you're divorced, have no kids, you're both, my ex-husband doesn't owe me an alimony. Like, it's like, to me, that just doesn't make sense.
It's easy until emotion gets involved, or until you're used to living off.
To me.
No, it doesn't make sense to
really
me either. Doesn't make sense to me either, especially because like child support, I understand, but alimony, I don't.
I don't get it, and I think that people should
unless you're in. The only reason alimony makes sense is if, and I look at kind of your mom's situation a little bit, where it's just like, you drop your life in terms of like work and whatnot to be a housewife, and then you get divorced and now you don't have an income because this person said, no, I'll take care of it.
That's also a unique situation too.
That's a different situation. That I get.
Where if your husband is literally telling you, I don't, if you have
stay at home and do all this shit, I'll provide everything.
Exactly. And
that's a different situation.
So that's actually a very good point to bring up. Everything, at the end of the day, everything is situational.
We're sitting here talking like I don't know the legalities of any of this shit.
But still, like, and this reminds me of an episode though of Sex in the City, which I would really like for you to start Sex in the City. I know it's kind of girly, but I feel like you would really like it.
All right.
Because I feel like anybody in their 30s or who is getting close to their 30s can resonate with this show.
Sure.
And there's an episode where Charlotte is like newly married. And well, not newly married, engaged, and her husband has a lot of money. And she's somebody who herself has money, comes from money, but they're getting married. He's obviously the breadwinner, but he shows her a prenup. And she made it such a big deal. She's like, I'm not going to marry somebody who is planning for divorce. And I'm not going to marry somebody who's just like.
So you got to switch that's the thing. We got to switch the stigma.
Yeah.
About that.
It's like, it's a
not
safety
planning
net.
for
yeah. And he didn't even think about it that he was just like, honey, like, this is just something that like my family has always done. Like, he was like, I didn't even create this prenup. This was a prenup that's been created for all the generations that just have it ready because they know when they get married, like their finances are at jeopardy, you know? So
100%.
And she made it such a big deal. And like all her girlfriends were like, Charlotte, like this is normal. Like this is like, you don't need to be overthinking this and making it such a big deal. Like it's just.
But I do understand that viewpoint of like, I think I used to think about that too, where it's just like, what, you think we're going to fail? So you want, it's like nobody gets married thinking they're going to fail at it.
But you always have to prepare for the worst.
You have to prepare for the worst.
Like you can't, you don't.
And I'm such an optimistic and positive thinker, but you do, right? It's like the same thing. You don't wait till you're thirsty to dig the well. You know what I mean?
And when I get married, I think that there definitely needs to be a prenup. And the prenup needs to just be an acknowledgement of agreements that we will make if God forbid we get divorced. At least there's a plan. And there's no a nasty divorce where we're both wasting
It's the same thing as like a business agreement. It's the same thing as like a business agreement with one of your friends. You're like, I'm never going
contract. You always have to have a contract.
Yeah. You're like, oh, it's my best friend. It's like, that's how you stop becoming best friends. Is something may never go wrong and this thing may flourish. But at some point, some shit may hit the fan and you're both fucked if you don't figure this out.
Think about how much happens in just a year.
You never know.
How things
never
can
know.
change. Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we went all over the place with that. But yeah, all right. That's great to know that that's how you'd spend your $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
We just went on. Yeah, we're divorce lawyers now. Hit us up if you're trying to get divorced.
Oh my God, literally. Honestly, law is something that I've always been like super interested in and would love to.
I once talked to a chick who was went to law, who was in law school, but I think her family was rich because every time she flew back home to Arizona.
Usually people that go to law school come from money. I feel like
she's flying first class everywhere she goes. So I'm like, yeah, you got fucking, your parents got money for sure. Not discounting that she doesn't have it, but if you're a full-time law student, you don't have time to do anything else. I don't think so. My guess is it's not her money. Just my assumption.
This is true.
I don't want to assume but I am assuming.
So I asked you a question. You asked me a question.
I certainly did.
This was a really random question, even though it like has nothing to do with anything that we've talked about. Because I've never asked you this before. Because I feel like every time I envision,
buckle up.
Every time I envision like, because of course I envisioned a wedding with the two of us. Like at some point in our relationship, I envisioned a wedding.
Yeah.
And I had my own envision of a wedding and like talked about it, how I would want to see a wedding. Like, but for you, how would you envision like your perfect wedding? Like, how would you want it to go down?
Oh dear God, is it crazy? And I don't think this is crazy, but as a man, my first thought process is I want the reception to be more like, I can think of like the perfect like type of reception more than the perfect wedding. I mean, I would just want it to be somewhere beautiful is really for me.
Where? What would that mean?
It's tough because a part of me goes, a destination wedding would be cool, but then again, it's kind of a dick thing to do to people because like as much as people want to attend your wedding, it's like they have to shell out a fuck ton of money to go.
I think a destination wedding is only reasonable when if one, it's a very intimate small wedding where it's like a small group of people.
Yeah, you can't expect 50 people to fly across the country for you.
But usually people that do these type of destination weddings know the people that they're inviting, their financial situation. So I feel like they know if they're able to they have the capacity of doing so. I think a destination wedding is gorgeous and beautiful too. But it would have to be super intimate. Like if I had a destination wedding, I would literally want to invite 30 people.
Yeah, because you can't.
That's it.
But the more intimate, the better. I feel because like I also don't want a bunch of people at my wedding that I don't know.
Well, I mean, luckily, like you have a big family, but you don't have a big family.
Yeah, so it's not like it's that crazy. It'd be more of like friends and whatnot. I feel and whatever's on the other side of that. But I haven't really thought about that too much. It was more or less. From my standpoint, if we kept going, I wasn't thinking about what the wedding would look like. It was more like, I think from a man's standpoint, they're like, the woman knows what she wants for a wedding. We'll let
they usually take the lead.
Yeah, and we'll let her handle that. And if we have any like if I have anything that's like, I don't really jive with that, I'm going to voice it and bring it up because it is expensive and it is a wedding. But that's her dream. The part that I need to focus on and get right is the proposal. That's the man's job. And I'm not saying that the man can't have a say in the wedding and can't have a dream in the wedding, but from my standpoint and in my experience in my life,
I think that's balanced because it's like the man.
That's my
the man
focus.
has to stress and like literally prioritize a proposal. Then the
how much to spend.
Then the wife can prioritize planning the wedding.
Yeah,
like let's be real. What
things,
guy really wants to sit there and plan a fucking wedding? Like I feel like they could care less. Like it's just like whatever you want. But yeah, I think we're just gonna wrap up the podcast here. The next podcast we're gonna do a similar setup, but I think add a few more new segments that are more interesting. So we're just gonna end the I was gonna say end the vlog here, end the podcast here. Oh my god, it's so bad.
Conversations with my ex, yes it had to end. Dated for 5 years, now we really good friends. Conversations with my ex, talking love and life, the dating ins and outs, sharing some dope advice. We gon' keep it honest, never hold back with my comments. I done learned a thing.